Now seriously, are they joking?
We all know that Australia's expensive, blah, 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 blah. But the one thing I wasn't prepared for was how expensive certain items can be.
And this is how much it costs. You would be surprised how expensive everything is.
How do you find out if you're rich in Australia? Well, have a big family and feed them lamb.
Wait until you see how much I paid for this.
Australians getting ripped the fuck off. $11 fucking dollars for eggs, bro.
In 2026, the cost of food in Australia has shifted from being an inconvenience to becoming a defining pressure in everyday life, one that quietly reshapes how millions of people eat, plan, and think about the future. What was once considered a basic expectation in a wealthy country, that working people could reliably afford groceries, has become uncertain for a growing number of households as prices continue to rise while incomes struggle to keep pace. This change has not happened overnight, which makes it easier to dismiss in headlines and political debate, but impossible to ignore at the personal level, where families are forced to adjust their habits, expectations, and health in response to food becoming steadily more expensive. The result is a society in which eating well is no longer assumed, but negotiated, and where financial stress increasingly enters kitchens, supermarkets, and dinner tables across the country. By 2026, grocery prices across Australia have increased to a level that has significantly reduced affordability for low and middle-income households, particularly as essential items such as fresh produce, meat, dairy, bread, and packaged staples continue to rise faster than wages. While Australia remains one of the world's wealthiest nations on paper, the lived experience for many people reflects a different reality, where grocery bills consume a growing share of household income and leave less room for savings, emergencies, or quality of life. This shift has altered shopping behaviour across the country, with consumers becoming more cautious, price-sensitive, and increasingly reliant on discounts or reduced selections to manage costs. Over time, these adaptations have changed the relationship people have with food, turning grocery shopping into a task that requires planning, compromise, and emotional restraint, rather than a routine part of daily life. The loss of affordability is particularly destabilizing because food demand does not decrease simply because prices rise, forcing households to absorb higher costs by cutting back elsewhere or lowering standards of nutrition and variety. Many Australians now report purchasing fewer fresh items, limiting protein intake, or substituting cheaper alternatives in order to stay within budget, even when these choices conflict with health advice or personal preference. This gradual adjustment process, repeated week after week, erodes confidence and reinforces a sense that basic living standards are becoming harder to maintain despite steady employment and careful budgeting.
Sydney, Australia literally just became the least affordable city in the world. Are we being so for real right now? This literally means you just can't buy shit. Like, imagine not being able to afford shit. Real talk. This is Sydney, Australia. It's like the worst type of living. And on top of that too, the internet is shit too. So why do we have shit internet and it's so expensive to live here? Are we gonna lift this weight off our shoulders or something? Like, what's going on? And let's not even start talking about houses, because bruh, why is it that you could live so far away from the city, away from all public transports like trains and buses, and your house is still $1 million and up? What are we talking about, Sydney? Yo, this place is unlivable. I remember I pulled up to a smoke shop in Manly, and these folks were selling aloe veras for $2.50. The 250 milliliters, just drink. That little drink right here. They're selling that for $2.50. I haven't seen them motherfuckers for $2.50 in my entire life. Yo, they're usually $4.50. Like, what the fuck? Yo, somebody sign me up for another city, bro. Because what the fuck do you mean it's just expensive as fuck to live here, bro? You can't be serious, bro. Come on now.
This is how bad the price gouging in Australia has gotten. Because back in 2017, these ads were everywhere in Coles. Feed your family of 4 people for under $10. But look at this ad that I got from Coles on Instagram today. Meal deal. Dinner for 2 for $20. That is $10 a person just to eat dinner for one night. Which means if you're in a family of 4, it's now $40 to feed your family for a night. This is disgusting.
If anyone wants to know how fucked the cost of food is in Australia right now, yesterday I scanned a bunch of grapes at the self-checkout and they were $17. I obviously had them take them off of my bill and put them back, but can anyone buy grapes for $17? And if so, please tell me what your career path has been.
We got breaking news. It was just announced that the average family of four is spending over $1,000 per month on groceries. But that's not even the craziest part, because there's something that's going to make food prices go up even higher. What you have to understand is tariffs and inflation are increasing prices of food, but there are also massive labor shortages and weather issues across the globe, causing prices to go up 5 to 6% every few months. That's why meat, eggs, and other consumer staples are becoming so expensive and borderline unaffordable. Now, inflation is stabilizing for other parts of the economy. Housing and electronics are both seeing under a 2.5% growth in inflation this year, but groceries are expected to inflate 3% for the next 2 years. In fact, analysts are expecting food prices to go up 4 to 7% in 2026 alone, and it's because of these two reasons. One, more tariffs. The president said that he might pass more tariffs on different countries, which would cause more expensive grocery prices. The second is the deportations. As much as we like to admit it or not, it's going to cause labor prices to go up, and we're already feeling it in our economy. Because of all this, it's become more popular to shop in bulk, like Costco and Sam's Club. But let me know in the comment section, are you feeling this spike of groceries? And let me know your story. How is it affecting you? For more news that makes you money, give me a follow.
Can someone tell me why I've just stepped into Woolworths to get food for Thursday and Friday. I spent $75 on what? I literally got mince, eggs, some bread, some spinach, and a little couple other bits. $75. What the fuck?
If anyone wants to know how fucked the cost of food is in Australia right now, yesterday I scanned a bunch of grapes at the self-checkout and they were $17. I obviously had them take them off of my bill and put them back, but can anyone buy grapes for $17? And if so, please tell me what your career path has been.
We all know that Australia's expensive, blah, 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 blah. But the one thing I wasn't prepared for was how expensive certain items can be. I fancy a jacket potato. These aren't even the potatoes that you'd use for a jacket potato. $8 for 4. Detergent costed $11. Mere $3 more. £4 to make a jacket potato.
How much do everyday food items cost in Australia?
Obviously, starting with tea bags, $4.10. 2 litres of milk, $3. 12 free-range eggs, $8.50. Wholemeal bread, $2.80. 1 avocado, $3.50. 1 kilo of bananas, $4.50. Pesto, $1.85. Pasta, 90 cents. 1 kilo of chicken breast, $12. The good stuff, $7.90. And a little sweet treat for $2.75.
And we're out of there. Let me know how you think that compares to the UK or wherever you're from, considering that is probably the most expensive supermarket in Australia.
In addition to rising prices, Australian consumers in 2026 are increasingly affected by shrinkflation, where products become smaller while prices remain the same or increase, creating the impression of stability while reducing actual value. This practice is particularly noticeable in everyday grocery items, where familiar packaging disguises reduced quantities that only become apparent over time, forcing households to repurchase items more frequently. For families already managing tight budgets, shrinkflation accelerates spending and amplifies frustration as the cost of maintaining the same level of consumption quietly increases without transparency. The cumulative effect of these changes is consumer fatigue, where shoppers feel worn down by constant vigilance, price comparisons, and the sense that their money is being stretched thinner regardless of effort. This fatigue is not simply about spending more, but about losing trust in the fairness of the system, as people begin to feel that affordability is being eroded through subtle mechanisms that are difficult to track or challenge. Over time, this undermines confidence and contributes to a broader sense of economic insecurity that extends beyond food into other areas of life. As food prices continue to rise, many Australian households have reached a point where food is no longer treated as a fixed necessity within the budget, but as an adjustable category that must be reduced when other costs such as rent, mortgages, energy bills, and transportation take priority. This shift forces families to make trade-offs that were once considered temporary but are now becoming permanent, including skipping meals, reducing portion sizes, or relying on low-cost, low-nutrient foods to make ends meet. These adjustments may appear manageable in the short term, but over time they have measurable effects on physical health, energy levels, and emotional well-being, particularly for children and older adults. The normalization of these compromises reflects a broader affordability crisis, where food insecurity does not always present as visible hunger, but as ongoing nutritional stress that gradually wears people down. This form of insecurity often remains hidden as individuals continue to work and function outwardly while privately managing the strain of never feeling fully secure about their access to food. One of the most concerning aspects of food unaffordability in Australia in 2026 is that it increasingly affects people who are employed, including those working full-time or holding multiple jobs. Despite regular income, many Australians find that rising food costs, combined with high housing and utility expenses, leave little room for maintaining a healthy diet without compromise. This disconnect between work and basic security challenges long-standing assumptions about fairness and opportunity, as individuals who follow conventional expectations still struggle to meet essential needs. Over time, this reality erodes morale and trust, as workers recognize that consistent effort no longer guarantees stability or well-being. The emotional toll of this disconnect contributes to disengagement and frustration, as people begin to question the value of participation in an economic system that fails to provide reliable access to fundamental necessities. The effects of rising food costs in Australia extend beyond financial strain, manifesting as chronic stress, anxiety, and emotional exhaustion caused by the persistent uncertainty surrounding basic needs. When individuals are forced to think daily about whether they can afford to eat adequately, their mental energy is consumed by survival concerns, reducing their capacity for long-term planning, emotional connection, and overall resilience. This prolonged stress contributes to both mental and physical health issues, including increased anxiety, depression, and conditions associated with poor nutrition. Importantly, this experience often remains invisible as people continue to meet work and social obligations while privately managing the strain of food insecurity. This hidden nature makes the problem easier to overlook at a societal level, even as its consequences accumulate across the population. For families with children, rising food costs create additional layers of pressure as parents attempt to protect children from financial stress while absorbing the burden themselves. Many parents reduce their own intake or compromise on food quality to ensure their children are fed, a strategy that may be sustainable temporarily but leads to exhaustion and health problems over time. Children growing up in households where food access is uncertain face increased risks related to concentration, development, and emotional stability, with effects that can persist into adulthood. These outcomes highlight the long-term societal implications of food unaffordability, as the consequences extend beyond individual households and shape future generations.
I think it is a goddamn shame that a country as so beautiful as Australia is trying to cover up something so goddamn sinister. In case you didn't know, Australia is fucking expensive. You have to be forking out basically half of your weekly income just to be able to put a roof over your head, which is absolutely disgusting. And I keep seeing rhetoric online being like, yeah, well, what do you expect? You're living in a major city. You're living in a populated area. Shut the fuck up, moron. Look at this. It is the exact same nationwide. The anxiety I have alone about this one topic is actually crippling. I think about it almost daily, about how I'm even going to survive by putting a roof over my head if I'm giving out half of my income just to be able to do so. Something needs to change because the prices are just going to keep going up and everyone's just going to keep saying yes because we don't know what else to say.
Can't get over how expensive food is in Australia. I'm just stuck at the lights on the range between Port Douglas and Cairns. A tanker lost its trailer. Anyway, I was in Cairns. I left Vanuatu the other day, and I can't get over how expensive food is because I don't eat a lot of chocolate when I'm in Port Douglas. When I'm in Vanuatu or junk food, or I tend not to go to the supermarket for anything but dishwashing liquid, really. I went to buy some lollies and some chips, $6 for a packet of chips, and for a packet of bananas that used to be like $2, I swear, like not that long ago, well, like $4, $5, $6 for a chocolate. It's just crazy. I cannot get over how expensive it is. I feel really grateful that I get to live in Vanuatu and I can live out of my garden and the fruit and vegetables are so cheap. And and I don't feel the need to, I definitely don't eat as much chocolate. I mean, there's not as much a variety. And I don't eat chips. Oh, well, I do. That's a lie. I make taro chips, banana chips, pawpaw chips, sweet potato chips. But yeah, not packet chips. But anyway, yeah, I'm sorry, you guys in Australia. It is super expensive for food and stuff. It's pretty crazy, actually. Anyway, just thought I'd do a TikTok post while I was waiting I hope everyone's all right. But yeah, just on the range in between Port Douglas. Back home to Vanuatu, left last Thursday to visit my grandchildren, and going home again this Thursday, and then I'll do it all again in another 3 weeks. Anyway, if you have any questions about living in Vanuatu, let me know. And yeah, tell me how much a packet of chips are at your place, because tell you what, in Port Douglas they were super expensive. LA, see you in Vanuatu.
Why is food so expensive at the moment? You are literally not going to be able to guess how much these 3 items cost me. One of the most frustrating things about living in the Australian outback is that food is so expensive. You're gonna go get ice cream, but sometimes you really just need a treat. Now, am I gonna drive an hour-and-a-half round trip just to buy the world's most expensive ice cream? You betcha I am. Every time we drive past a bunch of cows like this, I always look and see if there's any teeny tiny ones that might fit in the car that, you know, could come home with me. I just think a pet cow would be like the best pet ever. I cannot believe that I'm about to spend $8.60 on chocolate and $14.40 on grated cheese, but honestly, your girl needs pizza. I drew the line at spending $18 on that tub of ice cream though. The fact that it costs that much is outrageous.
Now seriously, are they joking?
$60 fucking dollars. Go fuck yourself. $38 for fucking 24 rolls. Fuck off. $19.60. That's fucked. $15. Fuck off. $30 fucking dollars for a dishwashing tablet. You're fucked. $16 for Rocky Road. Fuck off. $25 for dog food. Fuck off.
So I'm at Woolworths in Australia and I'm about to do my grocery shop, and this is how much it costs. You would be surprised how expensive everything is. So we've got some cookies, $7. It's expensive. 2 bits of salmon, $19. Little Lindor egg, $38. Jesus Christ. Not gonna lie, milk's pretty standard. I mean, light milk's $3, it's about £1.50. If you want normal milk, yeah, it's about $5. Which is about 2-3 quid. Yeah, it's actually pretty expensive. Had these before, they are banging. Shapes, cheddar cheese. They're currently on offer for $2, which is £1. I did buy 3 packs yesterday. They are so good. Some orange juice, $6.95. £3.50 for orange juice. 4 Belgian waffles, $6.50. We've got £1 mangoes. I don't mind spending on these because they are delicious. We've got 2 of those.
That one's big.
Squishy. See, everything's pretty similar to the UK, but like it's just some things that are more expensive, like wraps. $10, which is a fiver, or like £5.50, $5.50. It's like £2.75. But yeah, compared to England, Australia is definitely more expensive, but you also do get paid a higher wage here. So, oh no, I've dropped my hand. Works out about the same.
Australians are getting ripped the fuck off. $11 fucking dollars for eggs, bro. Nearly $7 for fucking butter as well. Like,
I mean, it literally cost me $25 for 3 things. Like, that's so fucked. $25 for mangoes, grapes, and some eggs. It's crazy to me because I only have to worry about myself. Like, there are people out here on the same amount of money as me, and they've got 4 fucking kids to feed. There's no way you can tell me butter is worth $7.50, bruv. On special as well. These bad boys better fucking cure cancer.
Wait until you see how much I paid for this.
Hello, I'm just gonna pick up packets for Kobe Walker. Alright, basically $1 per bite. These better be wrapped in gold. Anyone that knows me, you know how much I love mini Wheat Bix. So much so that I paid 40 USD for this box. Yep. $57 AUD. It's literally the size of my head. Oh well. I also had to get Weetabix because on Amazon they don't sell Wheat Bix, which is like the Australian version, so they'll be the same, I'm sure. Literally gonna have to ration. Yes.
The food affordability crisis in Australia in 2026 is not the result of individual behaviour or poor financial management, but of broader systemic factors including wage stagnation, rising living costs, and market structures that allow prices to increase faster than incomes. Expecting households to continuously adapt without addressing these underlying conditions places unrealistic pressure on individuals and ignores the limits of personal adjustment. As food unaffordability becomes normalized, it risks being treated as inevitable rather than solvable, reducing urgency and accountability at institutional levels. The rising cost of food in Australia in 2026 represents more than a temporary economic challenge. It reflects a deeper strain on the relationship between work, income, and basic security. When large portions of the population struggle to afford proper nutrition despite employment and careful budgeting, the issue becomes structural, with implications for health, productivity, and social cohesion. A society that cannot reliably ensure access to food undermines its own foundations, as nourishment is essential to individual well-being and collective stability. Addressing this reality requires recognizing food affordability as a core requirement of a functioning society, rather than a secondary concern to be managed through individual sacrifice.